Welcome back. It's time for business, and for that I'm joined by Matthew. Hello, Matthew. Hi, and also today by Eric Olander. Thanks for coming in. Eric, you'll be telling us about the new iPad a little bit later. First of all, though, Matthew, we're going to start with Greece. It's a big day today for Greece. Another big day.
Another big day for Greece, yes. All eyes will be on Greece from 8 o'clock this evening. That's when bondholders have to tell the Greek government whether they're going to accept this bond swap deal that effectively is going to wipe off 75% of the value of their bonds, but that will also wipe off 100 billion euros of Greek debt, and they really need this to get the next tranche of bailout money from the EU and IMF.
Now, what signs are we getting so far, then, that of the number who will accept this deal?
Yes, well, there's various estimates ranging from 40% up to Bloomberg's reporting 58% this morning. So the Greek government really wants to get to 75%. Then they say they're going to use special legislation to try and force the deal on most of the others.
And how are the markets doing? They seem to have picked up a bit?
The markets picked up a bit, yes, this end of the week. We can take a look at Europe and how things are just opening up, actually. Bit of optimism around Greece at the moment. Good news on US new jobs as well helped. We've heard that Airbus's parent company, EADS, reported profits up 72% in the fourth quarter. So that was good news as well. Over in Asia, things have closed now for trading on Thursday, also in the green. Japanese market did pretty well there. There was some good news on Japanese growth. Although it was negative, it was much better than had been expected. Now, as Claire mentioned earlier, we have Eric Olander with us today. We want to talk about the iPad because last night Apple unveiled its latest iPad. The company really dominates this market. Eric, can you tell us what's special, if anything, about this new model?
Well, millions of Apple fans around the world are waking up with something of a hangover after the big parties last night for watching what came out of San Francisco yesterday. Not the iPad 3. Let's be very careful. It's the new iPad, so a change in nomenclature that they've done there. This is really another advancement in one of the world's most successful technology products. Let's go through a few of the specs that are on the new iPad. It's got a new high-definition resolution screen, which is called a Retina display, and apparently this screen is just magnificent. It's a higher definition resolution than what you have even on your television at home. So that's spectacular. A longer battery. It's also the first 4G product coming out of Apple, which is an LTE product. So that's very important. It can have 72 meg download speeds, so very, very fast. Now, what usually happens with these LTE products is the batteries go out very quickly. So they've put in a bigger battery. They put in a faster processor. So now they say on LTE you can have up to 9 hours of battery life. That's another major improvement. And then there's a 5-megapixel camera, which the camera on the iPads was traditionally very, very weak. And finally, a 1080p full HD video camera as well.
And where does it fit in the overall tablet market?
Well, there is no such thing as the tablet market. There is the iPad market, and then there's everybody else. Apple is a company.
Dominating.
Apple dominates it. Let's take a look at some of the statistics that we've got here. They have 62% of the overall market share right now. And the next closest competitor is Samsung with just 9%. So they have a dominating share of this. Now, interesting, last night, Apple's online store crashed. People couldn't get through to buy this product. Now, that's an amazing thing because this is a $500 product to start. Usually people walk out the door with an $850 product. In Europe, it's an 850 euro product. So people are crashing the store to spend up to 1,000 euros on this product. So they are continuing their dominance in this market.
I hope they get their money's worth.
Absolutely, and that's amazing. And of course, last night was a big night as well for Tim Cook, the new head of Apple. How do you think he did?
This was the first time that we saw Tim Cook fully on his own. Of course, he did do the iPhone 4S launch, but really this is now we're in the Cook era, out of the Jobs era. And really it's one of the things that Steve Jobs did in his legacy was to leave this very strong management team in place. Johnny Ives, the design director, Tim Cook, the CEO, and all intents, the reviews coming in for Tim Cook are very, very strong. So he did a good job last night.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Eric, for giving us a bit more detail there about the iPad. Good.
Thanks, Eric. We're going to pick up now on a few more of the day's business stories. Air France KLM has announced it made a net loss of 809 million euros in 2011. The company said it was hit by an increase in its fuel bills of 904 million euros. The French-Dutch group said it aims to stabilise its debt at 6.5 billion euros in 2012.
And in other airline news, German airline Lufthansa reported losses of 13 million euros on Wednesday. The company said its British Midlands subsidiary dragged down results with losses of 285 million. Lufthansa has agreed to sell the loss-making airline to British Airways parent company International Airlines Group, although the deal is still awaiting regulatory approval.
Now, Spain is suffering deeply from the global economic slump. With rising debt levels and record unemployment, one village has come up with an innovative way to reduce its €1.3 million debt. Stephen Carroll has more.
Nestling in the hills of northeastern Catalonia, the sleepy village of Rasquera is finding its own solution to the financial crisis: cannabis. By renting a plot of land to an association of cannabis users to grow the plant, it's hoping to raise money and create jobs.
This is a dream for us. It's a dream come true for lots of people who are risking everything. We're risking everything for our people. This is our moment. There's a lot of work behind all this.
Under Spanish law, the drug can be grown if it's for personal or shared use. The club, which is renting the land, controls the amount of cannabis its members consume, whether or not it's for medical reasons. But the deal has provoked mixed reactions from Rasquera's residents.
There's almost no medicine that doesn't use drugs, painkillers and so on. But if it's used in a different way, then I don't agree.
The location of the plot is being kept secret while the regional government examines the legality of the deal. But with rent of more than €50,000 a month at stake, it may be the boost that Rasquera needs.
And it's International Women's Day today, and you've got some data reinforcing the idea we already have, the notion that actually having women in the workplace is a pretty good thing.
Yeah, I mean, good for bit. Of course, it's a good thing. It's sometimes it seems ridiculous, these surveys, but this one is actually trying to put solid numbers behind why it's really a good thing, and it took the sector of banking, no less, to really make the point. This is a 2-year study by a professor at the University of Geneva who looked at banks and found that when you have more women in the banks working for a bank, there's a much better performance, and he's been able to correlate and show that with the performance on the stock market of these various banks. He says that those banks with more women perform better by 61% versus an average index of 31%. So that's just reinforcing, I suppose, what we know already.
It's not all good news, though, is it? Women in emerging markets seem to be doing worse than if they were a few years ago. Yes.
Now, this is interesting. This is another study. They've all, of course, been designed to come out today on this big day to get us talking about them, which we are. This is Grant Thornton, an accountancy firm. They looked at some key emerging markets to look at the proportion of women in senior positions, and you would sort of expect with the growth these economies are enjoying that would actually improve. But in fact, that's not the case. Latin America, the proportion of women in senior positions gone down from 28% to 22%. That's between 2009 and 2011. Same story in the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, down from 30 to 26%. Why? Well, they're saying that the reason for that could be that as more people move into towns and cities, they're actually losing the extended families they had before, where they were able to get much more help with childcare, which means one of the parents, often the woman, has to stay at home. So that's why during this adjustment phase, you're seeing it. In more mature markets like Europe, however, the news is more positive. There's been an increase there from 20 to 24%, although, of course, that's still far away from these sort of targets of about 40% of women on boards that we've been seeing in France and other countries around Europe. So a mixed picture there.
OK, thank you very much, Matthew, for that look at the day's business news. Thank you for watching France 24. Do stay tuned. All the latest headlines coming up in just a few minutes' time with Stuart Norval. Don't go away.